Indeed, folks, it is Party Scooper time, and we have Kevin and Sam in the house. And I just want to say both of your representatives that were in the State Fair Parade were very nice as they came by. We were the judges up on the platform, and both the gubernatorial candidate come over and shook our hands, as did the Republicans, including we had Joni Ernst come over. She tipped her hat to us. That was kind of nice of her. And Lieutenant Governor said hi as she was going by. She made sure that we looked at her. She was yelling to make sure we looked at her, which was pretty funny.
They did, Branstad and Reynolds actually did 2 loops. Because
I thought so.
It kind of took us, we're like...
because they're the Grand Marshal.
Right.
So they ride in the car. The governor always rides in the car in the front. Well, once they went through, they got out and went to the back of the line or wherever the Republicans were at and walked the trail again.
It was pretty fun.
And they've been very busy. They've had the Governor's Scholarship on the Bill Riley stage. They had the Governor's Steers Show. I've seen that man when they honored Governor Ray. He was there for that. So they've definitely been busy and had their presence out at the Iowa State Fair, as many politicians have on the soapbox.
Branstad loves the State Fair. I mean, he absolutely loves it. If you spend any time down there, you're bound to run into him sooner or later. Yeah, because he's all over the place. The Steers Show was something that he actually started his first year as governor.
I didn't know that.
And that was a long time ago.
32 years ago. And of course, it's a charity event, and that has raised $2.3 million for the Ronald McDonald Houses over the years. I think this year was the most money they've raised in any other year. And Kim Reynolds had the winning steer.
She did. I was out there. We raised $4,500.
Sorry.
I know.
Sorry.
For Johnny McSteer. I do have to say, Joni Ernst, she had a little trouble with her steer. She was pulled along. Made me feel good, because that's what happened to me last year. Is the steer showed me, and that definitely happened with Joni Ernst. And they were very nice when they interviewed her. They said, obviously, this isn't the animal you're used to dealing with.
All right, now, Kevin, we know that Terry was in it, Kim was in it, Joni was in it. Were Dems allowed to be in the Governor Steer Show?
They're all vegans.
They don't like beef anyway. No, I don't know the rules.
Okay. All right.
I couldn't tell you.
We need to check that out. Good. So what are we going to chat about this morning then?
Well, there's an interesting thing going on in the state treasurer's race, and this is a race that we have not really talked about. Michael Fitzgerald is our longtime state treasurer, 32 years. He's the longest-serving treasurer in the nation. He is a Democrat, and Fitzgerald, especially when elections come around, of course, all the statewide candidates are up for election this year. Fitzgerald's office puts out these commercials to promote, like, the Great Iowa Treasure Hunt, and
which came through for somebody at this desk very nicely last year. Yes, it was hand delivered, I might add.
So he does that, and then the college savings plan. And the tricky thing about this is Fitzgerald always features himself prominently in these ads, but they're not considered political ads. They're considered ads paid for by his office. Well, Sam Clovis is the Republican candidate running, and there's been complaints about these ads for a long time that they are actual campaign ads because he features himself so prominently, but they're not paid for with campaign funds. They're used for, from state funds. From Fitzgerald's office. Well, Sam Clovis, the Republican candidate, has complained to Iowa TV stations about airing these ads, saying if you're going to air these ads that feature Fitzgerald prominently when he's on the ballot this year, and they are, pretty thinly veiled campaign ads, then I'm demanding equal time. Well, 2 TV stations in Des Moines and 1 in Ottumwa are now refusing to run the Fitzgerald ads. This is a very smart move on Sam Clovis's part. I know Dave Jamieson, the Republican who ran against him in 2010, had made similar complaints, but did not go this far to demand equal time. I know the Iowa News Broadcast Association, Iowa Broadcast Association, has sent a warning out to TV stations saying you might want to be a little bit leery of these Fitzgerald ads because there could be some problems there.
So it's not just him doing a commercial or promotion for the state, and he's the treasurer, so of course he would be the face of it.
Well, yes, but
Michael will run them.
But he doesn't. He features himself. I mean, if you watch these ads, they look like campaign ads. I mean, he could do
himself in the beginning.
He could do the ads without saying, "Hi, I'm Michael Fitzgerald, treasurer of the state of Iowa." He doesn't need to be in the ads at all.
Legitimacy. These are legitimate state programs. This is about college savings, encouraging parents to save for
their college. But he doesn't need
to
feature himself in them.
Right, but it's not. You're making it sound like this is a 30-second documentary on Mike Fitzgerald.
Now, did he do these years prior? Does he?
Yeah, he's done these. He does them all.
It's no different than years prior.
Well, but there have been complaints about them for a long time.
Right, and it's even some of the stations in Des Moines who aren't running the ad, they've said this isn't an ethical thing. This is, comes down to equal time. They don't want to give the Clovis campaign equal time at a lower rate when they could get the
I didn't know
bigger
Sam
bucks.
Clovis was running for treasurer until the State Fair Parade.
Yeah,
That's true. I didn't know that.
That was it.
Three of us.
Of course, Sam ran for the U.S. Senate.
Right.
Yeah.
And he was the runner-up, the surprise runner-up in the U.S. Senate primary. With very little money, was able to finish ahead of Mark Jacobs, who had spent millions of dollars, a lot of it out of his own pocket. And Republicans fell in love with Sam Clovis. I mean, he was not really well known statewide prior to this. He's pretty well known up in Northwest Iowa as a radio host in Sioux City and
Right.
whatnot. But
Right.
people fell in love with him. And we did not have a state treasurer candidate on the Republican side. And so in the lead up to the state convention, it was actually a few people had commented in the comment section on the IowaRepublican.com saying, hey, what about Sam Clovis for state treasurer? And that just started to pick up steam, and some people out in Scott County and the Quad Cities area started calling Sam Clovis and saying, hey, you should really consider this. He wasn't even thinking about doing this. This was after the Senate race had already been decided, and he finished second. Of course, Joni Ernst won with like 56% of the vote. But anyway, so more and more pressure over a 24-hour period, people started lobbying Clovis to do this, and then he finally says, all right, I'll consider it if the governor will, agree to help me out with fundraising and support the campaign. So he connects with the governor's office. Governor Branstad and Kim Reynolds are just thrilled that he wants to be on the ticket, and we nominated him at the state convention, and so he's running for state treasurer and running very hard. He's going all over the state campaigning for it. So it's great. He's a real plus to have on the ticket, because conservatives, the conservative wing of the party, are very excited about Sam Clovis. They love him. So to get them to turn out on Election Day and support the Republican ticket, this is a good move for the Republican Party.
Now, what
of
about
Iowa.
Democrats? And do you think they'll just reelect the incumbent?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I think it's a difficult road for Sam Clovis to unseat somebody like Mike Fitzgerald.
I agree, yes.
He's not somebody who is overtly partisan in a lot of the things that he does in the office. He, does the duties of the office well. So I think that, it's going to be tough for Sam Clovis to make that case. And as Kevin said, Sam Clovis really he does appeal to a very small section of the Republican Party today. The further right, the Tea Party wing, coming from his days as a talk radio show host in Sioux City. So I think, obviously, Mike Fitzgerald is in good position going in.
Well, I will say Sam appeals to the entire Republican Party. The party loves him. He's a very smart guy. He's an economics professor and has a background that Michael Fitzgerald doesn't. He's already come up with some ideas, including IPERS, which has a $6 billion unfunded liability that he believes needs to be fixed. So
I didn't know that.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was just going to say, moving on to other things, I imagine you guys have spent a lot of time at the Iowa State Fair, maybe with the soapbox. What has the response been so far? Have they been good? Have people been raising some interest, or is it just an opportunity to say, hey, here I am, hello, Iowa?
It's funny. It's for the first time this year, they've put some of the lower tier statewide candidates on there, like the treasurer and the attorney general and the secretary of agriculture. They had not been on the soapbox before. And, for those races, not a lot of people pay attention to them. And it's funny that somebody took a picture of me, because I've been out there for almost all of the speeches, covering them for the IRepublican.com. The Democrat candidate for Secretary of Ag, I was the only one watching.
I saw that picture. You look like sad Keanu Reeves.
Really?
Yes. Now, it was a rainy day, and, but I felt bad for her. And for the other statewide candidates, they'll have a couple dozen people watching them. But then when Joni Ernst is out there, or Bruce Braley, or Branstad spoke yesterday, there's 100, 150 for them. And thankfully,
which is not a monstrous crowd, but it just gives them a chance to talk to some people. They can have a one-on-one connection.
And Ted Cruz spoke Saturday, which I wasn't there for that, but I know he attracted a big crowd.
I heard there were some hecklers there.
There were some hecklers.
Too.
From what I hear, they were actually just people walking by, yelling things, and Cruz handled it apparently greatly. He said, "Thank you, sir, for expressing your First Amendment rights," and then just continued on. Now, the heckling has been kept to a minimum, which I'm really glad to see.
I mean, obviously,
now, if people want to heckle either of your two parties, where can they find your two party locations at the Iowa State Fair? Because I'm sure you guys have set up shop, haven't you?
Right. Like both booths are actually in the Varied Industries building.
Okay.
They're right on the other side of the main entrance.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Next to each other.
Yeah, that's how they're set up every year.
Stop by there if you're going to the fair, and you can visit with these guys. You guys going to be out there? Yes or no?
Yeah, of course.
Of course.
I'll be out there today. Rick Perry speaks at the soapbox at 11:30
Oh,
today.
really?
And there's congressional candidates before that as well, Democrat and Republican.
Any Dems you know of offhand?
Not offhand.
Not offhand. You can check when you go in the Varied Industries building
Yes.
and find out who's going to be out there. Thank you, gentlemen. It
Thanks.
is